Hello and welcome back to another episode of Coast Football Weekly. This week we're joined by Wyoming's NPL First Grade head coach. Welcome to the pod, Scott Snodgrass.
G'day, AB. How you going, mate?
Good, mate. Now, I don't really like to have guests on after a loss. Came up against Southern yesterday, actually.
Yeah.
3-0 loss against the league leaders. Debrief that. Talk us through it.
Good side, mate. Very experienced. They know their triggers. They know their roles. Very aggressive, very physical.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the guys there have been together for a few years now. You know, we all sort of know that. Probably for the first 35 minutes, I think we competed really well. Gave away a soft goal off a poor goal kick, but other things happened after that that led to the goal. But they're just deadly. You make a mistake and they score.
Yeah.
You know, and second goal, Keithy's there at the right time. Unbelievable. You know, that he's just killing it still.
At what, 50-something?
50, I don't know. I don't like to insult him. He's such a weapon and such a great guy. Just there to pounce off a mistake, probably we can say. And then the final one come right at the end through some poor defending. And look, if we'd walked away 1-0, I would have been happy, you know, for a loss against what I think is the best team anyway in the comp compared to who we've played with. I think they're a bit ahead, you know. So look, that it's only a small amount, you know, in terms of you know, the gap I think is only quite small between even the top 6 teams. But if you make mistakes, they will punish you. And the problem is on our end we continue to make them, and then we can't convert. So I think that's the true difference. You know, I keep saying that to my guys. This isn't like Man United playing, you know, Crystal Palace or someone lower. You know, it's a lot closer than that. But you've got to compete. You've got to compete for 90 minutes, and we've probably done it twice this year, to be honest. Yeah.
Moments like that, just win or lose you a game. It's been a tough 2 weeks for your boys coming up against what are the 2 top teams in the comp at the moment. But got a good point against last year's league champions, Budgewoi, down 2-0. Were able to claw back.
We did.
How was that fixture out here at Plume Park?
It was great to play on that surface as well. I've got a lot of young players that are from rep systems that are used to playing on those decks as well. I don't think that we're suited with that scrap on a messy pitch. You know, so to play there is fabulous. Really well structured team. Probably pushed the ball around better than any other team. Not as direct as what Southern are. And we just stayed in it. Look, I probably got it wrong there tactically. We tried to high press them, and that was a mistake. And I should have learnt from earlier in the year against better teams to not do that. But that's really in my attitude of having a crack. But once we sat back in that sort of mid-block and we cut out the passing lanes a bit, you know, and I don't know if they switched off a little as well. But, we're able to get two good goals, 2 really well-crafted goals. And Jude Rankin, who's new to the club, and only just back on the pitch after major calf surgery. He got 2, you know, so that was great for us and great for him.
So he came from
he was a Mariners 20 and he was at Druitt last year in the 20s. Played a couple of games of first grade, more so probably off the bench. And he's twin. Plays for CCU now for a short period of time there as well. So good things for us to be getting. The Joey Lewis connection, who's a Wyoming junior, getting him back to the club. All those Eddie's boys that are connected, you know, him, Harry Stiffel, Big Jonah Townsend. He probably more from the football school, but connected through Mariners. That's been really helpful for us. You know, it's added to the juniors we're bringing through, and those senior guys like Jared, like Joxie, Matty Hall, who's just back again, doing some good things, and some of the others,
and Lincoln, who's also been an addition to use this year,
brilliant,
the Golden Boot earlier in the year.
I think he's the best player in grassroots football under probably 19. He's only 18, and he just turned 18, so he's done some great things. He's playing out of position at 9. He's an 8. You know, so it's very different. Only through an agreement with Ian Mack, who coached a good mate of mine that coached Arimba last year. I couldn't go after him like I would. He's a Lizero High boy,
right?
So part of my plan for a while now, and sorry, Arimba, but Jacob Gilbert, who's the teacher there, a guy that had been at Wyoming as well, great leader, great teacher, really well respected, coaches all the very best players in our catchment there.
Yeah.
So my thing was get him back, get him back, add him to the coaching staff. He's still good enough to play grade, and then see how we go. And probably through the agreement with Macca and us being such good mates, I didn't pursue that any further, but had seen him at club games and whatever else, and through Fletcher Marshall as well, and some of the other boys at school saying how talented he was. Proof's in the pudding. His first year at first grade. You plateau a bit, but he's deadly. If you switch off for a second,
he
will punish you. So he's happy. Where it's great that we've got him. He's studying to be a physio at the moment, so he's a really intelligent young fella as well. Great to have around the group. Well respected by the senior players, and I hope we can keep him.
And knows how to bag some goals.
Well, he does. I think that over time he will push him back into that. Probably maybe not this year, but we'll see how it goes, and hopefully keep him for next year. But if we can get him back next to a good, solid ball-winning six, and allow him to be that box-to-box midfielder, look out.
And how would you assess Wyoming's 2026 so far? I think sitting in fourth last.
Yeah.
About 3 points above that playoff relegation spot where you obviously were last year. Is there an improvement on last year, do you think?
I think there is an improvement, but it's a new team as well, and you can't just piece everything together and expect it to work straight away. They've had to adapt to my style of football as well. So, look, I'm not unhappy. I think the next month of football will determine the results and what people think and how we assess internally. But we've obviously got there's games that are within reach. Over the next month or so, coming to the end of the season. So I think if you ask me that question, then that's when I can give you a true answer. There's some games I've been disappointed with. We've thrown games away. We haven't played 90 minutes a lot, which the top teams do. The Southerns just
ruthless.
And we haven't. The times we've got it right, we've got results. Maybe not a win, but it could have been a draw. Or even if we've lost, I'm okay. But that's been the difference for us this year.
Looking at from where you were last year to this year and the competition as a whole, do you think the competition is stronger?
Marginally. Yeah, I think the top teams are about where they are. I think Southern are probably better. Budgie Boy, you don't win titles in July. So I think that they've got all of the pieces of the puzzle
foundation.
And Burke aren't mugs either. Look at their defence, and they're I think the best defence in the league.
They don't concede many goals. They never really
have.
No,
they haven't. And look, I think that those top 3 or 4 teams, Terrigal have done well. As well, but then I think the rest are pretty much probably. There's not a lot between all of them. Arimba are doing it a bit tough. Very, very young squad. They'll only be better if they can keep all those guys together, but marginally, I think. Obviously, we had Henry Walker last year, who
big loss.
I think he's playing in the 5th tier of English football.
So
that he did a lot for us.
Scored
9 goals as a centre back. I would have loved to unleash him at wing back this year. I think that would have been special.
Goal of the year too.
Goal of the year.
Up there in the player votes.
He finished second in the player votes to Charlie Entwistle, and I think as a defender, that's pretty good going. Amazing throw. Makes Toddy Balneve's throw look short.
Jai McNamara's.
Jai McNamara's. But look, I think that we've got the right pieces there. It's just keeping together, and that's hard when you've got some really good standout players and other clubs do approach. They're not all Wyoming juniors. So look, they do what's best for themselves more so these days than there's a heap of loyalty still there. Don't get me wrong, but player movement is pretty strong.
It's definitely a lot more than what you would see back in the day.
Back in my day, a long time ago. For sure.
Has anything surprised you about the competition this year?
No, not really. No, I don't think so. I think that in it last year. You know, I knew the quality was there. I think the quality is definitely still there. Us, Arimba, Gosford have come up. Gosford have probably been, you know, it was surprising when we played them.
Yeah.
I think that we should have been up early in the game, but they've got a weapon that can put the ball in the back of the net consistently.
Yeah.
And that really helps. But no, I think that it's very, very similar probably to last year, just with marginally better quality.
Yeah.
Would be my assessment, yeah.
When you look at your fixtures for the remaining season, you do play Killarney, Gosford, sort of all teams around you.
Yeah.
When you look at those games, do you think they're must-wins?
Oh, absolutely. Starting with your minor this week. But whoever goes to your minor oval and thinks that that's going to be easy is off their head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I know that their results haven't been probably to their liking.
Yeah, very inconsistent, I feel
lately.
like. Beat Southern, only team to drop points to Arimba, so it's just...
I don't know enough about their squad and the ins and outs and all of those things either. So, you know, but yeah, look, the next 3 weeks are huge for us. That will determine if we finish, let's call it 5th or 6th or 9th.
Yeah.
You know? It's not over by any stretch. And I mentioned that to my players this weekend. I've not brought it up until now, but finishing in that 9th spot is a challenge.
Yeah, well, in recent years, finishing 9th would have got you relegated, especially
100%.
last year. Was the first time we introduced this playoff relegation, right? With the remaining teams from Div 1 going to a final series. Obviously, you made the grand final of that, were able to beat rivals Gosford to stay in Premier League.
Yeah.
How was it going in that final series, knowing probably most of the year you're underdogs, but then heading into these games, you're sort of favourites to sort of come out? Was it hard to get the players to sort of switch that mentality?
Not really, but we had Doyleson in the first fixture, and that was a challenge.
Yeah.
Like Michael Seaborn was just superb that day in goals, and he saved us.
Yeah.
You know, and got us through. There was always a lot of belief in the squad. Getting up for the next game against Gosford, that was the struggle. You know, and you know that was a dogfight.
Yeah.
You know, we got the goal. We probably should have had. It probably should have been 3-0 at half time. You know, I think being fair, but just couldn't convert.
Yeah.
And then we got the goal, but then they come at us in the second half. So relief in the end.
Yeah.
It was a very long season. That's the last game. Like you're training in that last week. It was quite warm too. Fields were rock hard.
Yeah.
But look, we wanted to stay up.
Yeah.
You know, and there was too much drive amongst the playing group to go down. And look, I don't think we deserved to, but obviously the table said we did. But it's your effort doesn't always match what you get.
Yeah. Going into that game, did you know much about Gosford and how they play, or were you more focused on?
I'd seen it a bit. I'd scouted a few of their games in previous weeks because I thought that might be an outcome. And some of the guys are really excited about it, right? Because there's a few guys within the squad that had been at Wyoming, went to Gosford, come back. Not many anymore, but that's still there. And I'd seen their game, a few of their games. They had no Joey up front.
Yeah.
So that's a bit different, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Like you don't have that threat. But in saying that too, I think the previous year they'd beat us in a semi out there where
the hat trick.
With Kieran.
Yeah.
Had scored the hattie, and you know that sort of plays on your mind sometimes as well. But look, I was confident after seeing them play Doyleson. I thought that we were a better football side, but anything can happen, right? And they gave it to us.
Yeah.
You know, 1-0. I think we were deserving winners.
Yeah.
But they pushed us the whole way and had the better of the last 25 minutes.
Yeah, it was a backs against the wall effort in the
end.
It was. I remember that.
We defended really strongly. But yeah.
Touching on Henry Walker again.
Yeah, look, freak.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, to Shay's credit, like they were there.
How did you get Henry Walker to the club? Was it just by accident?
Yeah. The Grange Hotel is a wonderful place.
Magical things happen at the Grange.
It does. He had been working with big Mitch Meredith.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Who had been the Wyoming centre-back for 5 or 6 years. Went with Macca to Warimba, and we just worked really hard on him when he was there. He had been trialling for some other clubs. and then we got him across the line. I think that he was with Berkeley Vale, but yeah, that at the final hurdle that faltered, and he was looking for somewhere to play, and he fell in our lap a little.
Yeah,
but it was great to get him.
Yeah,
best athlete. People ask me like, he's the best player that's ever played for Wyoming. Probably not.
Yeah,
there's better technical players, but best athlete. When you're doing 424 Bronco tests, which is not a soccer thing, right? But it puts them through the hurt locker.
Yeah,
and guys that are first grade at the Broncos are doing 412.
Yeah,
like he's a machine.
Level, yeah,
and I think he was carrying injuries towards the end of last year too. In the All-Star in the North-South game,
and South,
he was probably the only guy that played every minute,
which
I wasn't real happy with.
And
he pulled a groin in that game, and he carried it the rest of the season, but you just wouldn't know.
Just push through.
He's just a freak.
Well, you mentioned some obviously quality players who have played at Wyoming in the past. It is a pretty successful club with quite a lot of history. How important is it for Wyoming to be a Premier League club for someone like you who has been there for a while?
Huge. It's we are a Premier League club. I think we've won the most grand finals.
Yep.
I think we've won 9.
Yep.
Since 1960 something. So that's a few more than some others. It's a very proud club, and I know we haven't sort of succeeded for a while, depending on what you measure as success is. But I think 2014 was probably the last time when you were around, sort of playing as a young guy. But yeah, during that 2004 to 2014. Very successful. So it's a lot to live up to, really. Like everyone that's taken over, you do sort of feel that pressure, but all of those guys within those, all of those top players within those sides, those real successful ones, are all really close friends of mine.
Yeah.
So super supportive. Have a kick around together in the 45s.
Yeah.
Makes a huge difference. To get those texts throughout the week and say stick with it and whatever else and believe but it does weigh on me a little bit. I don't want to be. I was a player when we got relegated. I was sort of on the committee helping just before I become president. We got relegated.
Yeah.
And then Macca's assistant when we got relegated.
Yeah.
So you start to, think, what have I done? But it's, it's up and down. And I think we're on the rise. I truly believe that. And a lot of really good young kids coming through, and they are kids. We've got 17-year-olds playing in under 23s. So they're not 22, 21, 22, 23. Yeah. They're 17 to 19. A lot of them can play 18s again. So I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
For where we're at. So 5 years' time, I know it's a long time away, but if this group of players stick together, I think that they can be a real force.
Yeah, well, you got to have plans in motion to want to be like that, especially for a team with the history of Wyoming. Yeah. You mentioned working under Macca. He was at the club for quite some time. What was it like?
6 years.
Yeah.
We're great mates.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're similar in a lot of ways. He's probably a little bit more forthright than me. Probably choose my words a little bit differently at times, but love him to death. One of the best football brains I've ever had anything to do with. I think anyone that's worked with him will say that.
Yeah.
Look, it's a difficult thing being a player coach. I sort of pushed him probably the last year or two to not do it, but it's still in the blood.
Yeah.
And he can still play.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just used in the right way. So, no, good things. Yeah, we lost a few players here and there, but we also gained some as well. And because of the likes of him, we don't get those players back or even from Gosford, whatever way you want to look at it. Without his appointment.
Yeah. He did get you the promotion, then stepped aside, you come over, and then he took over Arimba. And I think the first game of the season, you hosted them. What was the feeling like on the sideline going up against him?
Look, I didn't take any pleasure in beating him. I really didn't. Not at all. It's always good to beat that's a derby for me when I played. It was Wyoming Arimba. Gosford, not so much because we weren't always in the same division.
Yeah.
And I also had a couple of years at Gosford as well as a player, so as a younger player. So I do have a lot of respect there. Whereas Arimba was my real derby. But no, it was great to win.
Yeah.
It was a fantastic setting, goal of the year, all of that. But we all had a beer with each other afterwards.
Yeah. The way it should be.
And did that. And we don't do that with everyone. Like that's just, I want there to be a bit of animosity between the teams. I'm a bit old school like that. I think that you play your best when there's a little bit of niggle there, but that didn't, people have asked me that before, but it didn't do me anything really. Like I was like shook his hand and I know how it feels.
Yeah.
But, he had that team humming.
Yeah.
When they beat Berkeley Vale before he was dismissed and, it takes time with a new team.
Mm-hmm. As we mentioned, you've been at the club for quite some time, I believe 40 years or so.
Yeah, well, I'm 48 this year, so first club I played for.
Mm-hmm.
It was 86. I was 7 when I started. I was a goalkeeper.
Yeah, okay.
Not a very good one.
Yeah.
And then I stayed with Wyoming until we had the Coasties era.
Yeah.
Which was brilliant. Loved it. 12s or 13s through to about I was probably under 16s.
Yeah.
We weren't. I don't know if we were part of Football New South Wales then, Central Coast. Like we had to, all the representative systems above coast were through Northern New South Wales football.
Yeah.
So we had that Northern New South Wales football connection.
Mm-hmm.
Did a lot of that throughout my teens.
Yeah.
A little bit of New South Wales country related stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have the pathways then. If you ended up playing for an NSL team, because that's what it was back then, or a state team, like that was difficult, right? You had to go and put the effort in at Valentine.
Yeah.
A number of times a week to get noticed or get into those state country teams.
Mm-hmm.
And that era, that was the Paul Reeds, the Brett Emmerdons, Vinnie Grellas, Bresciano.
Mm-hmm.
That's who the guys you're playing against in state titles, like a ridiculous, golden generation, right? So it was brilliant.
Yeah.
But I think it was at about 95 or 96, Marcus Steele and a few of those lads had come back to Gosford, had a really good under-18s team and said, would you like to play? And I was like, oh, my mates, but putting the red shirt on, let's let it go. And it took me a while to live that down, but I had 2 great years at Gosford. Yeah. I'm very, very, very thankful. In the first year, I was playing first grade at 16. I wasn't 17 until the season was over. But I was also eligible to play in the Champion of Champions for under-18s. And that was the first, I think it was 95 or 96, and it was the first year that any Central Coast team had won it. Oh, wow. So that was a huge, huge thrill. So in my first year of men's football, I won not me, but part of it. A Champion of Champions for under-18s and a first grade title in the 1 year, a premiership in the 1 year under Dave Fitz, who was always been a mentor of mine, and a lot of respect for, and still call him coach to this day. And a lot of those guys, they were tough and uncompromising in that team, but the Ashley Grants of the world, the Brett Margins, the Derek Casleys, and there's a fair bit of recency bias that can go on, but those guys could go. They would compete with any team going around now. I'm completely convinced of that.
I remember
they were old pros, hard fit.
I think it's the CCF history book where is it the Champions or one of those photos?
It is.
Got you in it.
Oh, well, the Champion and Champions. I think it was 96. Is when we. When that happened, and it was a great thrill to be then asked because I was eligible to play and not being part of that team, but it was just great. That whole year and getting down and winning that against it was a South Coast team that we won it again, and Gosford did it again after that, but then Wyoming did it in 2007 as the men's senior team, and there was guys. I said to Marcus, you should have been back. He'd be the only guy that have 2 medals, 2 Champion of Champions medals. He'd come back to Coasties.
Yeah, they're definitely not easy to come by.
They're not easy to come by, man. I know Kalani had done it a couple of times too. With the kids and the girls have done it. That just shows the strength of our grassroots A-grade football here. I'm not sure it's as strong as what it was, but look, you went away to the Association Championships and dominated.
2 grand finals.
2 grand finals.
Wins,
and it did well in the other ones as well. So I think, there's a lot to be said about grassroots footy.
On the coast, we're a pretty competitive region and we do all right, And you touch on being on the committee. You did transition into being president. How did that role come about?
Look, I was looking to give back a little. I think it was about 2016. I come onto the committee. I think it was just to get a taste of the senior men's rep, just help out. And, there wasn't a lot to it really. Probably knowing I think Mick Kennedy was the coach then, knowing Mick very, very well through our playing history and whatever else. Being the liaison with the committee for him, I think probably took a little bit of pressure off and sort of us moulding the program where we wanted it to go. And then I think the following year I was football chairman, so stepped up again and being on the executive. And then the following year after that, president for 3 years, which, look, the first 2 years shaped me for that. I had some pretty strong views on how I wanted the club to push forward. I think that we'd neglected, and not deliberately. The volunteers at Wyoming had given a lot, but I think there was just a real changing in the guard. And I wanted to elevate the men's program. Our women's program was a bit up and down. I certainly my focus was men's football. Getting someone in to sort of run the women's side, I think, was important, and that didn't quite happen. But from then on, I just tried to make sure that it was as professional as possible. And a big part of it still to this day is ensuring that not a cent from any of our members' money goes into the men's program, not 1 cent. So what I'm paid and what the guys get in terms of their merchandise
Kit
and balls
and
and
stuff,
gear and kit, referees' fees, it's all paid by a third party sponsors. So something I'm pretty proud of because remember during our Coasties days, towards the end, money from our registrations filtering up to pay first graders, be it men or not women, but particularly the men. And that's still going on to this day, and I think that it's a real sour, leaves a real sour taste in parents' mouths. So I'm pretty proud that that's still happening now.
What do you think the hardest part of being a president is?
Getting all of the key stakeholders together. I think you've got to be strong as well in your convictions and be really, like there are constitutions and things you've got to abide by, but really if you lead, people will follow. So I think that through my 20-year sort of corporate career, I'd gained those skills. Probably a little bit of arrogance there too, not really worrying what people thought of me. Which is good and bad.
You probably need that in that role.
You probably but I just felt that we needed to step it up a bit and get everyone remotivated, and I think we did. Amazing treasurer. Alistair Kennedy was a secretary for a while there, and Al was a great good guy, bad guy between Sprotty and I, who've known each other. Good friends. But there's some battles there that I would get Al to just go and manage for me, and and you could worry about the rest and those types of things. But I think it's just making sure you get all your ducks in a row and being really organised, having plans for every weekend, making sure people are there to set up, to line mark, all of the stuff that that committees now do. That there's people who've got to organise that stuff, and it's generally one person that has to steer the ship.
Well, you went from being a president into working here at CCF, my co-worker.
I did.
How was it working for the association? Was there things you didn't realise until you came into the role of how?
A few. I remember Sprotty ringing me about the job, and as I said, I'd worked 20 years in a corporate media environment, and I commuted. I was burnt out. And there was opportunity to come back here and have a role on the coast, and it was sort of during COVID. I'd also done my knee. I'd had a knee reco when I first started. I was on crutches and whatever else. It was a strange time, but it was brilliant to be back on the coast. That was always my goal, to be back here. Be self-employed at some stage or be involved in football somehow. So him reaching out was brilliant. I loved my time here. It was really disappointing to leave. But look, was there things? Sure, there was some things that I didn't know. But being heavily involved as a president and wanting to know everything, I love the knowledge. And being and acquiring it and understanding the different bits that go on and asking questions, and I was probably a pain in the bum, to the guys in here. But for me to function as a leader, I needed to have that stuff, and I think coming in here, that was probably really good grounding for it, and it was tough. Because Darren was very firm on you work for CCF. My involvement with Wyoming Football Club was gone completely. I co-coached my boy, who was probably 8
at the time.
But I didn't have any other involvement. It was hard not to go to that sort of stuff. But I'm big on conflict of interest or no conflict of interest. I think sort of you know that as well.
Definitely,
that was hard.
Yeah.
That was the hardest bit. But love the time out here.
Yeah.
It's a great place to work. It moves around a bit in terms of the workflow, as you know. Very, very busy, and you know, you can get a little bit burnt out yourself, but then you get that time to chill.
Yeah.
As well. But hey, summer soccer now.
Yeah, I
as
know.
well.
Yeah,
So it's Lindy. Lindy is forever working on competition stuff, I guess, these days.
yeah, she's a machine.
Yep.
Is there anything that goes on behind the scenes here that most people wouldn't understand or wouldn't realise until they're in this role?
Yeah, there is. There is. I think that the average punter doesn't understand the relationships you've got to manage. You can't just say, we're going to do this. You've got council considerations, you've got club considerations, there might be other financial considerations. So there are all of those things. But putting together competitions and striving for a bit of equity and fairness and utilising the facilities we've got, that's huge. Well, that's only gotten more difficult with your numbers up on the board there, 16,563.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's a lot.
You know, and I'm now seeing that in clubland at Wyoming. You know, where I think we're around 650 at the highest ever. It's like 720 or 730 now, and you know, big increases in it with our girls and our ladies, which is fabulous.
Yeah, it's just growing.
But also across everything else, we're bursting at the seams. You know, so I think that everyone thinks we can just click our fingers and change things and make them happen. And and it's CCF's job to facilitate that. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
You know, the paid administrators of the game and need to be doing those things. But there's heaps of things. You know, but the average punter doesn't care. All they want is a field to play on.
Yeah.
With a ref.
Yeah.
Which has improved a lot too. 2 goals. And then play their game.
Yeah, basically, not to be washed out.
But I think we've got better access than ever before. You know, it's still not ideal. We still don't get. Just give us this. We just can't quite get that last bit that we want.
Yeah.
You know, particularly preseason, which is really hard for. When you're managing NPL squads.
Yeah.
We just don't have
finding any bit of grass to train on.
We can find grass, but are you supposed to be there or wherever? we all deal with that stuff, right? But facilities wise, like I think we've got more access than ever, but other facilities all up to scratch. No, they're not.
You're also on is it the Premier League Steering Committee?
I was.
Is that the name of it? Where the player point system was sort of born from.
Yeah.
I think 2 years now into the system, is it working like you thought it would? How do you view the player point system as a whole?
I think something needed to be done. I don't think it was it didn't land where those in the room thought it would land, you know, and there's probably a number of reasons for that, and they're valid. It's, you know, there's player point systems that exist for Football New South Wales and NPL. We're not that, but the good learnings from that, and I think within other Northern New South Wales football as well, and there's other areas.
Yeah, it's in
other
our
sports,
competition,
right? So, you know, having a higher point system and making it all fit in was 200 points and deductions here or there and whatever else. A lot of administration to get all that done. You know, that's basically, it might not be another staff member, but it's you know, there's considerations there on staffing to get it all done, and I think that was probably a concern for the boss and for the directors. I could be wrong, but the 3 points, it's challenging to manage.
Yeah,
I think that I was reasonably vocal on one of the recent posts, you know, and I don't tend to put stuff up there, but it was like, I think it's proportionally disadvantaged clubs like us, you know, because we're not set. We're trying to attract new players, you know, and if I'm wrong, I'm sorry here, but the Budgie Boys and the Southerns, they've been established for a while.
Yeah.
You know, so that type of thing doesn't affect them as greatly as what we can. You know, I've got someone like Jude Rankin who, with the change in the way that the system worked, and it's only through bad luck that the kid's not been able to be on the park. You know, it's major surgery to his calves, but I get him. And because he's played 1 or 2 games in first grade, he's a 20. He's an under 20. And he's worth 2 of the 3 points.
Yeah.
And I haven't had him for half a year.
Yeah.
Like, so that rule change did hurt us. And it's affected me being able to sign a few other players that I've been connected to parents,
Might have shown
like their
interest,
dads and stuff that have been playing for like Adamstown and other places like that where they're not in a real like, you know how strong the comp is. Like, there's the haves and the have-nots there as well. You know, and some of these, they're kids, they're babies, you know, they're 18 or 19.
Yeah.
But because they've had a game of first grade,
Immediately bumps them up.
Immediately bumps them up. So, yeah, that's hurt us.
Yeah.
And I think that, look, they're two separate issues. The money side of things and paying players is one thing. The point system is something else. But, look, I think having something tracking in the background over a year, and you can mould your system to where you think it might work and do it based on this year for next year or the next few years for a few years down the track, might have been a better option. But still, it doesn't take away all of the work that needs to be done in all of that and the system, my comp app and play football and all of that stuff. So, yeah, look, there's bits of it, I guess, that are great, but and fundamentally having a player point system, I'm okay with. I'm not, you know, I don't think it's the best thing in the world, but I understand why it was brought in. But it's made our life challenging to attract new players. I certainly think part of that, if we were going to go down that path, and there'll be different views to this, but the transfer points between clubs as well, that can affect Club X saying, come over for a couple of $100 a game, but then I'm attracting a number of points to go over there as well. You know what I mean? CCF's role is to create fair and equitable competitions, you know, so I could see that the direction intended on that. Yeah. You know, so it's with right intentions, but yeah, not quite probably where we need it to be. Yep. But there's a lot of other people that got views on this as well. Yeah. In other roles, club presidents, NPL probably shouldn't ask NPL coaches. Yeah. We're a bit greedy. We're a bit sooky at times. Yeah. You know, so I think that as long as clubs engage and that come up with what they think is best for football, I think we can get good outcomes.
Yeah, well, I hadn't really heard of a player system until I did go to Newcastle, and obviously it's always been up there since I've been there, and that still changes year on year. I think they're still tweaking it constantly. But in that committee, was there any other topics that came up, or was the main focus the point system?
It was a while ago. Yeah. You test my memory. AB. Look, under 23s was part of that. Yeah. We treated the women's stuff separately. There was already a steering committee for that with ladies involved in that had been in the game for a long time, and you know it's a different beast. Yep. You know, but yeah, the under 23s competition did come up, and also the club championship. Yeah. Probably the other two major items from the top of my head. Yep. Under 23s were mixed. It depends on what side where you are and what club you're at.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Yeah, look, we've got great under 23s. I'm still not sure that it's the right thing for our competition here. Look, my gut feel and just looking at things over the last few years, probably first grade, reserve grade would get us better outcomes, stronger and a stronger league. And I think force us to really make some tough decisions with the reserve grade as well, and really prioritise our youth players. And, you know, that could also buy into a player point system as well on youth. Yeah. You know, if you want to get down to the nitty gritty behind all of that, because, you know, if you're going to do that and really promote youth, well, there might be some advantages there within that system to do so. Yeah. And obviously club championship, I know that there's been a lot of talk this year around it again. Have we done the right thing? The playoff game, I've been involved in that twice. Yeah. I got beaten by Kingcumber back in the day. I think it was 2015 or 16.
Yeah, the last time we saw it.
Yeah, last time. And like it's great out there. Like the atmosphere in the theatre's brilliant, right? And the
last
build
game
up.
of the year,
But it's tough. Yeah. To be part of that. And I think this year, I've spoken to a few coaches about this, but I think that we've really had to prioritise first grade just utmost, and I think some of the reserve graders, they could be first graders, you know, and they will be first graders, and it's hard on them. Yeah, you know, like it's like, well, where do we sit in all of this? We're not even contributing. Yeah, you know, and you get to the end of the year like this, and we can still play games. Like it's like, well, our reserve grade might be sitting in 7th or 8th, and our under 23s might be sitting in 6th. Well, we're going to move players around, aren't we? To make it all happen. All clubs are going to do that. Yeah. But the guys that got them there then can be, you know, at a disadvantage. So, yeah, those were the things that come up, and I still don't think that we're fully set with it. But look, there's no reason why we can't change like every so often to get the right outcomes.
I think the first grade competition, when you're getting down to the nitty-gritty end of the season and the team might be obviously dropping players and it's deciding the first grade comp, I feel like that's where sort of the integrity gets thrown out a bit.
100%.
But club by club, year by year, it's different. So it continues to be a work in progress. We're talking about how you wear many hats in football and you're still a player to this day. How's the body holding up? Still kicking the ball?
Yeah, the body's not great. I'm not going to lie. More recently, there's been a lot of money spent at Aspire Physio. Cheap plug for Nilo out there. He's been amazing for me. Two knee recos. Probably shouldn't be playing. It's hard to stop.
Yeah.
It's hard to stop, but
love of the game.
Yeah, look, I use the term stealing a wage.
Yeah.
Whilst I don't get paid, I'm stealing ground off other people out there. But look, the camaraderie is everything to me. We've got a side that's been together 10 or 11 years. We're doing really well at the moment. We'll wait and see. Like, I think it's my last year. A few people encouraging me too, and I've never really had that in the past. But it is a bit of a stress reliever there for me too sometimes as well, But it is a challenge to manage the 14s, 14As, and then play.
Yeah.
But I'm not. Look, I just run on. I'm not going to lie. I don't have to. I'll just put my shirt on and go and pretend to be a footballer. For a period of time. But yeah, look, I didn't want to be one of those guys, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful to all the 50-year-old guys going around, but I didn't want to be one of those guys. I felt like I love the game that much. I didn't want to disrespect it, and that doesn't mean that's just me.
Yeah.
And I'm probably, the game's left me. The Jamie Carragher quote, get out before the game leaves you.
Yeah.
But it's very hard.
Yeah.
It's very hard. I feel like a piece of me has been stolen, like even talking about it.
Yeah. Especially being with that group of players for so long and seeing them still kick a ball. You just want to get out there with them. And I'm sure having that knee injury, that's all you could think about was getting back on that pitch.
Well, the thing is, AB, is that the knees, I might wear the knee brace and whatever else, but that's just all optics. It's every other part of my body that's, breaking down now. Yeah. But anyway, it's all good.
Going back to your sort of prime days or whatever we would like to call it.
Yeah.
What was your favourite position that you like to play?
I was always a CDM.
Yep.
Yeah, I was always like a 6.
What sort of player were you, if you could describe yourself? Or how would other people describe you?
I don't know if we can use those words. Look, younger on, I was very, very quick. You wouldn't think that now. So I could be played in a number of different positions and probably being just physically a bit bigger and stronger than a lot of juniors that I played with.
Yep.
Haven't grown since.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that'll come up with questions later. But yeah, look, a competitor, I think I had pretty good vision and good fundamentals. The Kevin Best, the Bob O'Toole's, they drummed that into us. It was very repetitive training, but I'm big on that.
Yep.
I think fundamentals are everything in the game, and having a good first touch. I think the first touch now, probably at my age, is still as good as what it was when I played Premier League. I just can't run.
Yeah.
But that's fundamentals, right? That don't leave you. But yeah, probably those three things.
Yeah.
I could be very angry, very demanding of my teammates, which I sort of, if I could take anything back, I'm a bit of a no regrets guy, but that's one thing I could take back at times, being a better teammate, and I try to push that onto my players. But the times are very different.
Yeah.
When I come into that Gosford side as a 16 turning 17-year-old, and I was a fringe guy competing with another young player for a position. I wasn't sure starter. Yeah. But they flogged me. Ashley Grant was just like the standards.
Yeah, that's it.
But if you step up to that, and Dad said to me, still remember it. You're up to this. You've got to wear the only thing is if they start getting physical with you, I'll step in.
Yeah.
And I remember that happening, getting taken out at training one time, and Dad was furious.
Yeah.
And rocked up, and I asked him never to do that again. I'll fight my own battles.
Yeah.
But
it's sink or swim back then.
It was sink or swim back then. It was great, really. Yeah. But as I said, guys like Dave Fitz as well, and Dave Patrick, Chris Patrick's.
Yep.
Old man, they were protectors. Like they look after you.
Yeah.
And if you did the right thing, they would look after you.
You mentioned your first year of senior football where you won champions, won a title. Is that, looking back, one of your best memories, or what's your favourite memory?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Look, obviously 2004, winning the grand final for Wyoming was great. Like I was a part of the first grade side at the start of the year, and I got injured really bad. Did my hip flexor really badly, and just I couldn't get back.
Yeah.
You know, it was one of those things that every time I tried to do anything, come back, run, kick a ball to go again. You know, so that was really disappointing not to be part of that. But the previous years had built to that. So obviously that had been the first title since 1980. For the club, that was huge.
Yeah.
But you know, probably the other time, yeah, sure, the champion of champions and a first grade premiership in your first year of men's football.
Yeah, hard to top.
And I wasn't even a man.
Yeah.
Right. It was hard to top. 2012 when we did the treble, I played third grade that year, and to play with all of the young guys and just sitting in the middle of the park and be able to direct guys around and with a number of other guys, it was probably 35 then.
Yeah.
Was unreal.
Yeah.
I wish like I was 10 years younger and can do that now.
Yeah.
I think that's something that I think the competition, even under 23s competitions, probably lacked a little of. You know, those senior guys who could get around and do that.
That experience.
Yeah, and to really lead those younger guys around a bit. But yeah, look, I'll say 2012.
Yeah.
You know, that was
special one.
I can't even remember the night. I don't think many of us can. That went on.
That's
for
how you know it's
a
special.
long time. But 2004, we lived at the Grange for a week.
Yeah.
You know, after that as well. So there's special times.
There's plenty in there. Yeah.
Yeah, but those, and look, I had great, other fantastic times as well. Like with just playing in all age teams and winning titles. Like they're good as well.
Yeah.
Just through the camaraderie.
Yeah, well, you've played with some pretty good players throughout the year.
Yeah.
Is there one teammate that comes to mind being the best out of all of them?
You know what? And a lot of guys know this guy, but he played up here, and I bring it up a lot of the time. But a young guy that I played for called Kevin Schneider.
Okay.
He had he's in your history book.
Yeah.
Like go and have a look there. Like he was a 94 Joey.
Yeah.
Starting right back with Kuehl, Greller, Edmonton.
Yeah. That
Danny Allsop. That era.
Yeah.
NSL, AIS guys. Went to South America, kept guys out of it, come back, played in Coastie's first grade teams, played with St. Gosford champion of champions team. He was a Tukley junior.
Yeah.
You know, and I think he's the most naturally talented player that I've ever played with. He could play anywhere. He was just that good.
Yeah.
He had signed a pro contract for a Dutch Eredivisie side. I forget the name. I don't know if it's NAC Breda.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's in the Dutch league. I think it is, right?
Yeah.
It may have been one of the other teams, but the guy was that good, but had some issues. And I think he's the best.
Yeah.
And then the likes of I think other guys have talked about best players at Wyoming. You know, recency bias again. Like I didn't see the guys that played in the 70s, obviously, but I'm told how good they were, and how dominant they were, and representative level teams. And I believe they won a champion of champions back in that 70s or 80s when it wasn't called that then.
Yeah.
Like it was, you know, the Kevin Bests of the world, the Franco Tools.
Yeah.
But yeah, Pat Bradley, I think he might have been an English under 17 or 18 international.
Yeah.
Come and play for Wollongong Wolves for a number of times.
Okay.
Yeah. Kevin Schneider and Paul Reed are the two best players that I've ever played with. Paul Reed was phenomenal, but he had a career ruined by injury.
Yeah.
Sydney FC, that just brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant players. But yeah, Wyoming, Pat Bradley, Marcus Steele.
Yeah.
Michael Kennedy.
Yeah.
Ridiculously good. Doesn't make a mistake. Still doesn't make a mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's others.
Yeah.
There's lots of
the
others.
List goes on.
But the list goes on. I'm sure it's the same with you. You played with some brilliant grassroots footballers.
Yeah.
Probably in a different time could have played at a higher level.
The coast, like we said, and there's so many people come on. There's just so much talent on the coast, like within grassroots, and to obviously every player is different, but some people don't want to pursue the next level and are happy playing on the coast. And some players they are like there's plenty of them. Well,
there's plenty of them, and look, money in the game. You know, I can understand. You know, at the top level here now, it's why wouldn't players want to play here if that's looking to be offered, rightly or wrongly?
Yeah.
You know, it's you got a job, you're a young guy.
Yeah.
Getting a couple of hundred in the hand. Don't blame him.
On your coaching career, when did that come about? Was that
I've always wanted to do it, right?
Oh, you did?
Like, and I'd done a few courses back in the day. They're all outdated. Like I need to, you know, I don't know if I need to polish up, but Cheryl said to me the other week, no, they're good to do. You know what I mean? Like, and he's right.
Yeah.
You know, it's just finding the time and and at the end of a season, just chilling.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
yeah.
They're hard seasons, right?
Yeah.
With everything that you give,
Yeah.
within multiple roles. But yeah, look, I'd obviously coached my boy since he was 5.
Yep.
They're in the 14As now.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been a junior coach, but I always thought that I had the attributes
Yeah.
to be a men's coach.
Mm-hmm.
I probably was looking to do it earlier than I did, but I felt the club needed me in other areas. And yeah, that's why I went down the administration path. And then once we got Macca in, there's a lot that I learnt from him.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that I've changed as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm probably, whilst I played at a pretty good level as a junior, I wasn't a great trainer.
Yeah.
And you asked me to remember things like Ian McAndrew could rock up here today and put the best session together you've ever seen.
Yeah.
You know, just playing at that level, all of those things,
Yeah.
Mounties, Mariners, everything like that, make it work. I've got to really think through what I want and why I want to do it, and then plan the sessions accordingly. It's not natural for me like that. But mine probably more so is to try to be as good man manager as I can. Haven't always got it right. Certainly haven't got it right more recently.
Yeah.
But we are who we are.
How is it coaching your son?
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I think I'm getting to the point whereby I might have offered them everything I can offer.
Yeah.
But there's still a lot of joy there. They're boys that I've had since they're 5.
Yeah.
A lot of them, and they're killing it. A lot more. Like they got touched up on the weekend.
Yeah.
But that's a real reality check. And as I said, you don't win titles, be it league championships or premierships in July. Like you can lose them, I guess. But you know, we've lost 2 games.
Yeah.
Won the rest.
Yeah.
Great young side. Look. He was a B grade player. He's now an A grade player. Through a lot of his own hard work, I pushed him probably reasonably hard.
Yeah.
To practice and get things right. But hey, look, for me, it's just about him enjoying the game.
Yeah.
And him giving everything.
Yeah.
You know, I'm big on that from all of my players.
Yeah.
And I'll tell him.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not a helicopter parent. You know, I'm harder on him than I am on anyone else. That's through my own parenting.
Yep.
With my dad as well. So the poor little bugger will get crunched and I'm up.
Yeah.
You know, which is probably, you know, not my wife's not real happy with me, but yeah, he's developed into a good little left wing back.
Yeah.
An amazing motor, and he loves the game. I couldn't
ask for much.
ask for much more. And you know, he's playing with his mates.
Yeah.
I think his aspirations are just to be a grassroots footballer. It's his 10th year for Wyoming. So good on him. I'll support him as long as he sort of wants to play. But yeah, look, I'll stay on. Chris Patrick's come on this year to help out with his young guy coming back from the Mariners.
Yep.
If there are guys there that have knowledge and I know that have not necessarily coaching qualifications, but that helps, put together good sessions and develop the players, I would stand aside.
Yep.
You know, but I just quite haven't had that yet. But it's hard, right? You know, that coaches don't just, you know, come out of trees.
That's right, yeah.
They're usually involved with someone within the team.
Yep.
So yeah, that's where I'm at. But look, you know, the days that it's toughest is when it's all on a Saturday. You know, I'm not much of a proponent for men's Saturday football. I must admit, like they always think, you know, I get a bit of grief from my players.
Yeah.
Oh, they love it because they want to have a beer afterwards.
Yeah,
or whatever else.
have their Sundays free.
3, 5, and 7 doesn't serve anyone.
Yeah.
You know what? You know, if it's 1, 3, and 5, or it's 2, 4, and 6 even, but who wants to be at James Brown Oval or Mountains or at
9:30 getting in your car? Yeah, no, definitely.
You know, so friendly at times, but I think for all of that to change, if we wanted to be Saturday football, I don't think. Look, we've been very different here for a while, but there's been a lot that would have to change.
Yeah,
you know, to facilitate that happening on a Saturday for a couple of hundred players compared to 16,500.
Yeah,
it's great. I think the mix is right at the moment. I don't think every club should be getting Saturday games every week. I think it's a Sunday league, but there should be a good mix of it at family-friendly times.
I'm a former player on the coast, and back in the entrance days, I've nothing more than a 7 o'clock kickoff at Pat Morley Oval just because the crowd and atmosphere was so good. But playing in Newcastle these days, we can play on a Saturday at 2 o'clock, and that is much better because then I got the night and the Sunday to myself. So
well, you're a dad now as well, right? But back then, the Batto was probably open all hours.
Oh yeah.
You know, whereas we go back to pubs. There's a lot that's not like that anymore. So the guys aren't getting what they want out of it. It's pubs shut at 10:30. They're like, well,
Yeah.
We can't even enjoy, you know,
for one beer after a
and
game.
bond.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Different times. That was actually one of the questions we had on social media that come up. So we obviously took to social media, let people know you're coming on. Someone wanted to know your thoughts on Saturday night footy compared to Sunday. We just went through that.
Yeah.
We'll go through some more questions.
I'm split. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think a good balance is great. Earlier on in the year, all for April Saturday footy, even into May. When it starts getting colder, it's miserable. You know what I mean? But I guess I am a little bit swayed by because I coach a team and I play.
Yeah.
And at the end of 7 o'clock, I'm like,
yeah,
who's got the coffee?
Yeah. One of the questions that came through was, who is the best sledger on or off the field that you know? Like, I've played at Alan Davo before, and there's a few on the sideline.
That's pretty brutal back in the day.
Is there anyone that comes to mind?
You're going near minor and places like that as a player, like you just like if you didn't have thick skin, you wouldn't survive.
Yeah,
right? Like, and it was all pretty good banter. There's probably tougher back then as well, and cans getting thrown and all sorts of things. Yeah. Look, I'd like to say it anymore. My assistant coach, he's pretty good.
Yeah,
Kenny Melvin, but he sort of doesn't do that anymore. You know, we're a bit older and wiser. Yeah, and I know who would have asked this question. It would have been Chook.
Yeah,
Chook Johnson.
Does he want to?
He was he's pretty harmless, but he could get. Yeah. And Alan Davison was a tough place to be, and I think as long as it's funny, and respectful,
you're not crossing a line.
You know what, and look, there's some personal stuff coming out there, and again, but, people call me short and fat and all of that. That doesn't be like a laugh. You know what I mean? But look, those two guys I mentioned are probably pretty funny. Yeah. But there's all sorts of characters around there at Fields, and there's some great players that are good at it too. You know what I mean? And look, I cop it a lot. Through the odd little blow up as an NPL coach, and we all do it, right? And you cop it from the crowd, and the odd swear word gets thrown in there, and it's all part of it, right?
Yeah.
Like I think if it's done, quite respectfully, but I love that. I love that side of it. I love the battle. I love a bit of banter. So
yeah, well, and even as a player, if you're coming up against someone and you can get under their skin, there's some players out there that I know. Joshy Swaddling back in the day, a teammate of mine, people would target him because he would lose his head. Yeah. I don't know about these days. I think he's probably a bit older, a bit more, doesn't let it get to him. But Joshy used to get targeted all the time. So you have those players who the sideline knows and they're looking to target him from the first kick.
Well, look, players in general, I think, are a lot quieter these days, just with their general talk on the field, let alone any sort of banter. But I used to love it. Yeah, I'm not going to lie.
All right, next we got any players from your squad that have surprised you this season?
I think young Alex Nowak has surprised me.
Yep.
He's been our sort of player of the match the last few weeks.
Yep.
He'd played, I think he might be, played at Terrigal as a younger guy, and I think he was in Woongara's 23 system last year. He's probably surprised me a little bit. Like, so seeing some of these guys that have come in from day dot, like, I'd see them elsewhere and thought, oh, no, they're okay, right? But then they come to our training and go, no, they've got quality, But modern wing back, quick, fast, great in the tackle, good listener, cares about football. So young Alex has been great. And not a lot of other ones that would surprise me. Like I've expected quality from the other guys that I've got. The existing guys, the McNees, the Halls, the Paddy Mills. And the Joeys, they've just taken them time to adapt to grassroots football, and playing Woongara sort of second grade last year in a gun team. There is levels. They were an excellent team, first grade quality team. Jonah's been brilliant, but no, I wouldn't say anyone that's unbelievably surprised me. I knew how good Lincoln was getting him. Young Clay Bordeaux, who's Jerome's son. You would have met another in the Keith Gums realm. He's a great young talent that come through, can do things that other players can't do. So we're really looking to ways to integrate him moving forward. But 18. It's you've got to be good to be coming up against the the Webbies and the Elwoods and the the Balneves and the Swattos of the world. At that age.
Take some time to get that experience.
Well, expect the experience and the physicality, and just you can't be making mistakes because they're there, and then they don't make the mistakes. That's what I say to Matty Hall all the time. When you play, mate, I need an 8 out of 10 every week from you, and you should be able to give it because
as a senior
you're
player,
an old pro. You've got all the right attributes. Sure, poor bugger's busted. But they're the things that I want from those guys. Matty, since he's been back's given that. But back to the thing that I was talking about before with a little bit of inconsistency. I haven't had guys all perform well in the same game.
Mm-hmm.
If I could get a 7 or 8 out of, I reckon we'd be in a lot of games and be winning.
Yeah.
Some of those ones that we've lost, the game against Yamina, we had opportunity for a tap in to make it 4-2. They go down the other end, they score, and make it 3-3, and then the whistle goes. I'm like, oh wow, who'd want to be a coach?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so yeah, those types of things, coach killers.
Final question. This was sent in by a player of yours. We can discuss who that was after, in case you don't mention him. Best five-a-side of players you've coached.
I've coached?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's a bit different to who I've played with or who I know. I haven't obviously coached for that long.
No,
so
I think...
number one's got to be Ian McAndrew.
Yep.
Futsalroo.
Yep.
Like, I'm surprised the guy hasn't... The name's not come up beforehand. Like, he was with... left footer. What's his name? That played for the Mariners and
it's Rogic.
Yeah, Tommy Rogic.
Yeah.
So Macca would be there as one. We wouldn't worry about a goalkeeper.
No.
I'd have to have young Lincoln in there.
Yep.
As to Henry Walker as 3.
Yep.
Better outfield player than Joey Lewis. He's a mad on the synthetic. What's that for?
Yep.
And guys I've coached, it makes it quite difficult, right? And he'd kill me if I didn't put it in there, but he'd never play on synthetic anyway. I put Hawley in as a reserve.
Okay.
Because he'd kill me because he'd never play on synthetic.
Yeah.
He'd crumble. But the other guy, maybe Jonah this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen enough of Jonah to know that he's pretty special.
What about players you've played with then?
Kevin Schneider.
Yeah.
100%.
Mentioned him, yeah.
Yeah,
no goalie again.
Yeah, look, and I'll talk about guys from here, right? I'm not going to name drop guys who played with
some local players,
state teams and whatever else, because some of those guys that I mentioned before would all be in those teams way better than me, and went on with careers. But Kev would be one of them. Michael Kennedy, good luck getting past him. Steely, yeah, for sure. Don't know about on the smaller court, but amazing touch and balance and speed for a big man.
Yeah, 2 to go.
Yeah, the other 2 to go. The Gosford days, Derek Casely.
Yeah.
Just ridiculously good 9. And probably Marjo.
Yeah.
It's pretty defensive, that team.
It's a hard question.
It's a really hard question, but all those guys are at the
top-level players.
Top-level first graders. There's heaps of other guys, that played with that could change games in those teams, those Gosford teams. Good, the Steve Baranis of the world, great, amazing footballer. Dave Fitzsimmons, great goalkeeper.
Yep.
Heaps of others.
Yeah.
But yeah, probably those guys.
Well, it was Matty Hall that asked that, so at least he got on the reserves.
Yeah, he did. Look, Matt's a quality player. He really is. He's been very unlucky with injuries. People that talk about him not differently because people know his class, but he's had 2 or 3 horrible knee injuries.
Yeah.
And part of that, if you've had those knee injuries, if you haven't had them, you don't really understand. Mental games that it plays with you, and then all of the rest of your body starts breaking down too. So it's been great to have him back, and it's just been baby steps.
Yeah.
But he's back this weekend against Yamina. So dislocated his shoulder in the Berkeley, the Budgie Boy game, and popped back in. So that just shows the toughness of the lad.
Yeah.
To play the rest of the game, and we wouldn't have drew that game without him. So to get him back this week, and we could have used him.
Yeah.
He'd been playing centre back, but in the midfield against Webby and those types of guy who's they're super aggressive, right? That might
just
have
Matty to get stuck in there.
Matty to get stuck in there, and cat amongst the pigeons, and there's no intimidation of him, right?
Yeah.
But he look. We'll put him as 6 only because he hates Syntho.
Going on to this week, we'll get some predictions from you if we can. Starting with Saturday night, we've got Budgie versus Arimba at Budgie Oval.
Yeah, look, Budgie.
Last 4 games, no wins, so coming up against last place, obviously.
Yeah, look, I think up there, Budge will be too strong.
Yep.
Arimba's time is not now.
Yeah.
They've got some good young players if they keep them together. I think Fitzy's a good guy and he's doing a good job.
Yeah, and the results have been getting better.
Yeah, they have. They fall away in games a little bit, but they obviously got a decent result. Oh, that was Gosford that had the draw on the weekend.
Yeah, they went down to Kalani by a goal 2-1. But like I said,
Kalani and no mugs.
Yeah,
but good young side as well. So let's go Budgie there by a few. maybe 4-0.
Our remaining games all take place on a Sunday. So we got Gosford hosting Burka. Now, the last time they played, it was a 1-1 draw. How do you see this one playing out at Gavenlock?
I think it'd be really close again. I obviously don't know the ins and outs of the teams. That could really go either way, and that's no disrespect to Berkeley Vale. Gosford are hard to beat there.
Yeah,
really hard to beat there. They scrap and they fight, and they've got a guy up top that can bang goals in. Let's go Budge. Let's go Burke 2-1.
Terrigal hosting Camwell.
Don't know who. Camwell have had some players out more recently, I think, with overseas. I think young Kalen's been out. He's obviously a leader within that team. If he's back, let's go a 3-3 draw.
3-3 draw. High scoring
Where's that
game.
being played at?
Duffy's.
Oof. Okay, yeah, let's go a 3-3 draw.
Yeah, the great pitch of Duffy's. We got Southern against Killarney. Now, I think it was a 4-3 game last time these two played. Southern got one late.
JBO, James Brown.
Yep. JBO, Sunday Arvo.
Yeah, let's go Southern 3-1.
All right, and then match of the round.
Wow, match of the round.
Umina Oval.
Wow.
Umina taking on Wyoming.
I don't want to become a meme here. I really don't.
It was 3-3 last time you played, as you alluded to before.
It was. It's not easy going down there. Their results haven't been great. I think we can get away with a win.
Yep.
We have to.
Yep.
I know they probably think that they have to too.
Yep. Big game for both teams.
We have everything to play for. So I'm going to go Wyoming 2-1.
2-1.
And hopefully not become a meme.
Who's your two goal scorers?
Another
Jude double?
No. Let's go Lincoln Papalato to get his 8th goal.
Yep.
And we'll go Paddy Mills owes me a game.
Yep.
Paddy wasn't great against Southern, so I'm going to say Paddy Mills.
Paddy to bounce back.
Paddy to bounce back, and he'll get the other one.
Awesome.
No pressure, Paddy. No pressure, mate.
No pressure. No memes.
No memes like, I'm not going to go outlandish. And how could you? Like, I've never, as a player, been able to go down there and you don't win easy.
No. I remember going there as a 17-year-old, and you might have obviously a good side back in the day, but like you said earlier, that sideline, it's not a friendly place.
It's not a friendly place.
I don't think that's changed much over the years.
And look, I'm not sure the pitch, and the quality that we can play on there down there. My guys, they are probably more reliant than my previous team to play on a good deck, but they've got to learn, that it's grassroots football, and sometimes playing down the other end and taking your chances and no mistakes, that's enough. Don't have to play the prettiest football, so we'll go with that, mate, and hopefully I don't get a one moment later on Monday.
So one more question to wrap things up. We've obviously talked about you being a president, coach, player. What's next for Scott Snodgrass? Is there a president role back on the cards? You want to be a first grade coach? You want to take things further?
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself going?
I think it's a watch this space. It's the end of my 2 years this year, but it's been hard. I'm not going to lie. But I feel I've got a group of guys there that are really promising. So look, I'll decide towards the end of the year with the reapplication and all of that type of stuff. But I'll be involved in the game somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm a lifer.
Yeah.
I really am. So I'd certainly be on the committee somewhere if I wasn't a coach. I don't know if I'd be be looking for a president role, but somewhere where it could be, reasonably influential. But I guess it's just to watch this space.
Awesome.
And never say never, when it comes to that stuff, because I reckon I'll be 70 and I'll still be kicking around.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll see you around somewhere, no matter where it is, somewhere around a football pitch.
Yep, hopefully, not injured. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, appreciate you coming on, Snorks. All the best this weekend, all the best for the rest of the year, and thank you very much.
Thank you much, AB. Pleasure, mate.
In round 16 of our WPL competition, we have a Saturday night showdown at Edzac Oval between Killarney and Terrigal going down at 5:30. Killarney are coming off a weekend where they dropped points for just the second time this year, so they'll be looking to bounce back into the winners column, while fourth place Terrigal look to hand the Terriers their first defeat of the year and build some momentum into the 2026 final series. Our match of the round takes place on Sunday, and it is a Peninsula derby going down at 2:45 at Umina Oval. The E-Girls are coming off their third win of the year and welcome local rivals, the Lionesses, who are looking to overcome their slump of 4 straight losses with 0 goals scored. Southern have picked up both wins over Umina previously this season and will be looking to make it a clean sweep come Sunday. At Pat Morley, we have the last place entrants looking to climb off the bottom of the ladder for the first time this season, but faced a very stern test in East Gosford, who have handed the Reddies an 8-1 loss in their last meeting. Venturers will be hoping for more success in front of a home crowd this weekend. The final WPL fixture sees Kincumber hosting Camberwell at Frost Reserve. The Roos look to keep momentum rolling and distance themselves from 4th place Terrigal, as the 3rd place side could go within winning distance of 2nd place with 3 points under their belts in front of a home crowd. Thank you for listening to another episode of Coast Football Weekly. Please like and subscribe on YouTube and leave a rating and review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. As always, we'll catch you next week for another episode.